Imagine hearing about Bitcoin in its early days, and then being told, you still have another chance. A chance to become rich. A chance to buy the next Bitcoin, before the rest of the world discovered it. Imagine being told that this opportunity would never come again. Millions of people heard exactly that, and many of them believed it. Some invested a few $100s. Others invested their life savings. Some even borrowed money, because they thought they had found the investment opportunity of a lifetime. But instead, they had walked directly into one of the largest financial scams in modern history. A fraud worth billions of dollars. A scheme that stretched across more than 175 countries. A story involving luxury hotels, private jets, international investigations, and a mysterious woman who disappeared without a trace. Her name was Ruja Ignatova. The world would later know her by another name, the Crypto Queen. To understand OneCoin, we first need to understand timing, because timing was everything. Around 2009, a mysterious person using the name Satoshi Nakamoto introduced something entirely new, Bitcoin. At first, very few people cared, but over time, its value exploded. Early investors became millionaires, then billionaires. Newspapers covered incredible success stories. People everywhere asked themselves the same question: did I miss my chance? That simple question created the perfect environment for fraud. Because whenever people fear missing an opportunity, someone eventually appears, promising another chance. That someone was Ruja Ignatova. She was intelligent, highly educated, confident, and incredibly persuasive. Born in Bulgaria, she later moved to Germany with her family. She performed exceptionally well academically. She studied law, earned advanced degrees, and built a reputation as a brilliant businesswoman. By all appearances, she looked successful. She spoke multiple languages, dressed elegantly, and projected absolute confidence. People trusted her almost immediately because she looked like someone who belonged in boardrooms, someone who understood finance, someone who understood the future. Then came cryptocurrency. By the early 2010s, crypto was becoming a global phenomenon, but most people didn't understand how it worked. Terms like blockchain, mining, digital wallets, and decentralization sounded complicated. That confusion created an opportunity, because when people don't understand something, they often rely on trust. And Ruja understood trust remarkably well. In 2014, she introduced the world to OneCoin. Her message was simple. Bitcoin had already made people rich, but Bitcoin was difficult to understand, difficult to mine, and supposedly too late to enter. OneCoin would be different. OneCoin would be easier, safer, more accessible, and according to Ruja, it would become even bigger than Bitcoin. The message was incredibly powerful. People wanted to believe it, because everyone loves second chances, especially second chances to become wealthy. OneCoin wasn't marketed like a traditional investment. It was marketed as a movement, a financial revolution, a new economy, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Large events were organized. Hotels filled with excited audiences. People dressed formally. Music played. Giant screens displayed impressive presentations. Everything looked professional. Everything looked expensive. Everything looked real. Then, the Crypto Queen would appear. Ruja Ignatova walked onto stages like a celebrity. Elegant dresses, confident smile, perfectly prepared speeches. Thousands of people applauded. Some even stood. Others recorded videos. Many believed they were witnessing history. She spoke with certainty. OneCoin would become the world's largest cryptocurrency. OneCoin would change global finance forever. OneCoin would make ordinary people financially independent. Every sentence increased excitement. Every presentation attracted new investors. The company expanded rapidly. Countries across Europe joined, then Asia, then Africa, then North America, then Latin America. The growth seemed unstoppable. People invited friends. Friends invited families. Families invited neighbors. OneCoin spread around the world at incredible speed. But there was a problem, a very big problem. OneCoin wasn't actually behaving like Bitcoin. Bitcoin operates on a public blockchain. Anyone can verify transactions. Anyone can inspect the network. Everything is transparent. But OneCoin was different. The company controlled everything. Investors couldn't independently verify transactions. They couldn't inspect the blockchain. They couldn't confirm how coins were created. Everything depended on trusting the company and trusting Ruja Ignatova.
Yet, very few people asked questions. Because prices appeared to rise, events became larger, more investors joined, and success stories spread everywhere. Some early participants earned commissions by recruiting others. That created excitement. People assumed the system was working because money appeared to be flowing. Inside conference halls, the atmosphere became electric. Huge screens displayed numbers. Charts suggested extraordinary growth. Presenters spoke about financial freedom, luxury lifestyles, and early retirement. It sounded less like an investment and more like a dream. And dreams can be incredibly persuasive. Soon, OneCoin wasn't merely attracting investors. It was attracting believers. Some people invested their savings. Others sold property. Some convinced entire families to participate. The promise of becoming rich overpowered caution. By now, millions of people had heard about OneCoin, and millions more would soon discover it. The crypto queen had built something extraordinary. A global movement, a loyal community, and a business generating enormous amounts of money. But beneath the excitement, a dangerous question remained unanswered. Was OneCoin really a cryptocurrency? Or was the entire empire built on an illusion? The answer would eventually shock the world. By 2015, OneCoin was everywhere. It wasn't just a cryptocurrency anymore. It had become a global phenomenon. People talked about it in coffee shops, business meetings, family gatherings, and social media groups. Everywhere, someone seemed to know someone who had invested in OneCoin. The company's growth was astonishing. Europe embraced it. Asia embraced it. Africa embraced it. Latin America embraced it. Within a remarkably short period, OneCoin had spread across more than 175 countries. Millions of people joined, and billions of dollars started flowing into the company. The presentations were spectacular. Luxury hotels, massive conference halls, bright lights, huge screens, professional videos, thousands of people cheering. Everything looked like the launch of a revolutionary technology, not a financial scheme. Then, the crypto queen would arrive. Ruja Ignatova understood something very important. People don't simply buy products. They buy stories. They buy dreams. And she sold one of the most powerful dreams in modern finance. The dream of becoming wealthy. She stood on stage with absolute confidence. She told audiences that traditional banks were outdated, that cryptocurrencies represented the future, and that OneCoin would soon become the world's #1 digital currency. Every speech created more excitement. Every appearance attracted more investors. At one event, thousands of people filled a stadium. Music played loudly. People waved flags. Some were crying. Others applauded endlessly. To outsiders, it looked like a technology conference. To insiders, it felt like a movement, almost like a financial revolution. Many investors had never purchased cryptocurrency before. They didn't understand blockchain technology. They didn't understand how Bitcoin actually worked. But they trusted Ruja. She looked credible, spoke confidently, and carried herself like a successful executive. That was enough for many people. OneCoin also used another powerful strategy: referral rewards. Members were encouraged to recruit friends and family. When new people joined, recruiters received commissions. That created powerful incentives. Because suddenly, everyone became a salesperson. Investors became marketers. Families became recruiting networks. Communities began promoting OneCoin to one another. The growth became explosive. Someone invited a friend. That friend invited 2 more people. Those people invited even more. The network expanded rapidly. In some countries, entire communities joined together. People feared being left behind, and fear of missing out can be one of the most powerful forces in investing. The company sold educational packages, bronze packages, silver packages, gold packages, premium packages. Each one promised opportunities to receive tokens that could supposedly be converted into OneCoins. The packages often cost thousands of dollars. Some cost significantly more, yet people kept buying because they believed the coins would eventually become enormously valuable. At every event, the message remained the same. Buy now, before it's too late. Because one day, OneCoin would become bigger than Bitcoin. That promise changed lives. Unfortunately, not in the way investors expected.
As money poured in, Ruja Ignatova's lifestyle became increasingly luxurious. She purchased expensive properties, traveled in private jets, stayed in luxury hotels, attended exclusive events. Everything reinforced the image of success. People assumed she was wealthy because OneCoin was successful. Few considered another possibility. What if she was becoming wealthy because people kept investing? Meanwhile, some cryptocurrency experts began asking uncomfortable questions. They wanted proof. Where was the blockchain? How could transactions be independently verified? Where were the miners? Where was the transparency? These questions were fundamental, because transparency is one of the defining characteristics of genuine cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin's blockchain is public. Anyone can inspect it. Anyone can verify transactions. Everything is visible. But OneCoin was different. When critics asked to see the blockchain, answers remained vague. When experts requested technical details, they received explanations that often raised even more questions. The deeper specialists investigated. The stranger things appeared. Some analysts reached a disturbing conclusion. There might not be a real blockchain at all. If true, the implications were enormous. Because without a blockchain, OneCoin wasn't actually a cryptocurrency. It was simply a company claiming to have one. But these warnings struggled to gain attention because success stories were everywhere. Investors shared screenshots. People talked about future wealth. Recruiters organized seminars. The excitement drowned out criticism, and the company continued growing. Then, journalists started paying attention. Financial experts began publishing articles. Regulators in several countries became curious. Questions grew louder. Authorities wanted information, documents, proof, verification. The pressure slowly increased. Still, Ruja Ignatova remained calm. She dismissed critics. She accused competitors of spreading misinformation. She insisted that OneCoin's technology was revolutionary, and her followers believed her completely. To many investors, the crypto queen could do no wrong. By now, OneCoin was generating extraordinary amounts of money. Billions of dollars had entered the system. The company had offices, executives, events, employees, and millions of loyal supporters. Everything looked legitimate, at least from the outside. But beneath the glamorous presentations, danger signs continued appearing. Cryptocurrency experts remained unconvinced. Journalists continued asking questions. Regulators requested answers. And some former insiders began worrying because they had seen things that didn't make sense, things that couldn't easily be explained. And eventually, some of them decided to speak. Their testimony would change everything, because once insiders started revealing what they had witnessed, the image of OneCoin began to crack. Investigators would soon discover something astonishing. The empire that claimed to be the future of finance might have been built on nothing at all. And for the crypto queen, the countdown had already begun. By 2016, OneCoin looked unstoppable. Millions of members, billions of dollars flowing into the company, events taking place around the world, and a founder who was treated like a celebrity. But beneath the glamorous presentations, the walls were beginning to crack. The first serious questions came from cryptocurrency experts. They weren't interested in the company's promises. They wanted evidence. Simple evidence. Show us the blockchain. Show us the transactions. Show us the technology. But those answers never came. The more experts investigated, the stranger OneCoin became. There was no public blockchain. There was no independent verification. No transparent network. No evidence that OneCoin functioned like Bitcoin. For a company claiming to revolutionize finance, the lack of proof was alarming. Then came another problem. Some investors wanted to cash out. They wanted to convert their OneCoins into real money. After all, that was the entire point of investing. But many discovered something disturbing. Selling OneCoin wasn't easy. In many cases, it became nearly impossible. Accounts were restricted. Withdrawals were delayed. Explanations changed. Promises continued. But real cash remained difficult to access. For some investors, this was the first warning sign. Because an investment that is difficult to sell can quickly become dangerous. Meanwhile, journalists around the world began investigating. Financial reporters examined company documents, interviewed former employees, studied presentations, compared claims with evidence, and the deeper they looked, the more questions emerged. Then, former insiders started speaking. Some had worked inside the company. Others had attended executive meetings. Some claimed there was no functioning cryptocurrency. Others described internal confusion. Many said the company focused more on recruitment than technology. Their stories painted a troubling picture. OneCoin might not be a revolutionary financial product. It might be something entirely different. Regulators also became increasingly concerned. Authorities in several countries issued warnings. Investigations began. Financial agencies requested information. Questions multiplied. Pressure increased. Yet, Ruja Ignatova remained remarkably confident. She continued speaking at conferences, continued making promises, continued assuring investors that OneCoin's future was bright. Her followers trusted her completely. Many believed governments and banks feared OneCoin's success. Some even believed critics were trying to stop a financial revolution. That loyalty made the company incredibly resilient. Even as investigations increased, millions of people still believed, because hope can sometimes overpower facts, especially when money is involved. Then investigators uncovered another disturbing detail. OneCoin's business model relied heavily on recruiting new members. The company generated enormous revenue from educational packages, and new investors continuously entered the system. Some experts began asking an uncomfortable question. Was this actually cryptocurrency? Or was it operating more like a massive pyramid scheme? As concerns intensified, the company faced increasing legal pressure. Several countries issued warnings to investors. Financial regulators became more aggressive. Law enforcement agencies started sharing information. OneCoin was no longer attracting only investors. It was attracting investigators. Then came the moment nobody expected. October 2017. Ruja Ignatova was scheduled to attend a major OneCoin event. Thousands of supporters expected her appearance. They waited and waited, but she never arrived. At first, people assumed she was delayed. Then they assumed she was traveling. Then they assumed she would return soon. But days passed, then weeks, then months, and the crypto queen had disappeared. According to investigators, Ruja boarded a flight from Bulgaria to Greece. After that, she vanished completely. No public appearances, no interviews, no conferences, nothing. One of the world's most recognizable figures in the cryptocurrency world simply disappeared. The mystery immediately exploded. Where had she gone? Why had she disappeared? Did she know investigations were closing in? Had she escaped? Was she hiding? Nobody knew. And years later, many questions still remain unanswered. Her disappearance created chaos inside OneCoin. Followers became nervous. Investors demanded answers. Rumors spread rapidly. Some believed she was secretly working. Others believed she would eventually return. Many refused to believe anything was wrong, because admitting the truth would mean admitting they had been deceived. Meanwhile, law enforcement agencies continued their investigations. The evidence kept growing. Financial records, internal communications, witness testimony, international cooperation. Investigators from multiple countries worked together. Because OneCoin wasn't a local fraud, it was global. The money had crossed borders. The victims were everywhere, and the scale of the operation was extraordinary. As authorities reconstructed the company's activities, the numbers became staggering. Billions of dollars had flowed into OneCoin. Millions of people had participated. Entire communities had invested. Some families lost savings. Others lost retirement funds. Some borrowed money. Others sold valuable assets. The human cost was enormous. Then, the United States became heavily involved. Federal investigators intensified their efforts. Arrests began. Executives associated with OneCoin faced charges. Prosecutors alleged massive fraud and money laundering. The company that once promised financial freedom was now at the center of one of the largest international fraud investigations in modern history. But one person remained missing. the person at the center of everything, the woman who promised the next Bitcoin, the woman who convinced millions to believe, the woman known as the crypto queen. And as investigators closed in, the world was left asking one extraordinary question. Had Ruja Ignatova escaped with billions of dollars? Or was there an even bigger mystery waiting to be uncovered? By late 2017, the impossible had happened. The woman who promised to build the next Bitcoin had disappeared. No interviews, no public appearances, no explanations, nothing. The crypto queen was gone. At first, many investors refused to believe it. They remained hopeful. Perhaps she was working secretly. Perhaps she was dealing with legal issues. Perhaps she would return. After all, she had promised to change the world. Surely, she wouldn't abandon millions of followers. But weeks became months. Months became years. And Ruja Ignatova never returned. Meanwhile, investigators continued following the money. And what they discovered was staggering. According to prosecutors, OneCoin had generated billions of dollars from investors around the world. The estimated losses reached approximately $4 billion. Some estimates suggested the number could be even higher. It was one of the largest financial frauds ever connected to cryptocurrency. The victims were everywhere: Europe, Asia, Africa, North America, South America, more than 175 countries, millions of people. The scale was extraordinary. Some victims lost a few $100s. Others lost thousands. Some lost everything: retirement savings, education funds, business capital, life savings built over decades. In many cases, entire families invested together. Entire communities joined together. And entire communities suffered together. As investigations intensified, OneCoin's leadership began collapsing. Executives faced arrests. Charges were filed. Courtrooms filled with victims. Witnesses testified. Investigators revealed documents. The picture became clearer, and the picture was devastating. Federal prosecutors alleged that OneCoin never operated as a genuine cryptocurrency. Instead, they argued that the company sold people a dream that generated billions of dollars, a dream that depended largely on recruitment, and a dream that collapsed once questions became impossible to ignore. One by one, key figures associated with OneCoin faced criminal proceedings. Some pleaded guilty. Others cooperated with investigators. Several executives received prison sentences. Their testimony revealed the inner workings of the operation, and the details shocked the world. But one person remained beyond reach: Ruja Ignatova, the founder, the face of OneCoin, the crypto queen. She remained missing, and her disappearance only deepened the mystery. Years passed. Still, no confirmed sightings, no verified public appearances. Rumors appeared constantly. Some claimed she was living under a false identity. Others believed she had undergone cosmetic surgery. Some believed she was hiding in another country. Others believed she might no longer be alive. The truth remained unknown. Eventually, the FBI took an extraordinary step. Ruja Ignatova was placed on the agency's 10 most wanted fugitives list, the same list that has included notorious criminals and international fugitives. It was an extraordinary moment. A woman once celebrated on stages around the world had become one of the most wanted individuals on the planet. The irony was impossible to ignore. She once promised financial freedom. Now, she was one of the world's most famous fugitives. But perhaps the most important question is this: how did so many intelligent people believe in OneCoin? The answer is complicated. Because financial scams rarely succeed by targeting ignorance alone. They often target something much more powerful: hope. People wanted another Bitcoin. They wanted another opportunity. They wanted to change their lives. And OneCoin gave them exactly what they wanted to hear: that wealth was within reach, that they were early, that they were special, that this opportunity would never come again. The presentations looked professional. The events looked legitimate. The founder looked successful. Everything appeared real. And appearances can be incredibly persuasive. OneCoin also exploited something deeply human: fear of missing out. Nobody wanted to watch others become rich while they remained on the sidelines. And once friends and family started joining, saying no became even harder. Because trust spreads quickly, especially inside close communities. The tragedy of OneCoin wasn't only financial. It was emotional. Relationships suffered. Families argued. Friendships ended. Communities became divided. Some people blamed recruiters. Others blamed themselves. Many carried feelings of embarrassment and regret because nobody wants to admit they were deceived. And yet, history shows something important. Fraud does not only fool the careless. It often fools educated people, experienced investors, successful professionals, and intelligent communities. Because the most dangerous scams do not look like scams. They look like opportunities. The story of OneCoin also changed how governments view cryptocurrency. Regulators increased scrutiny. Law enforcement agencies developed specialized teams. Investors became more cautious. Questions about transparency became far more important. The crypto industry itself began emphasizing accountability. Because trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild. Today, OneCoin is studied around the world. Business schools analyze it. Financial investigators examine it. Law enforcement agencies reference it. And investors use it as a cautionary tale. Not simply about cryptocurrency, but about human behavior. Because technology changes, markets change, industries change, but certain patterns remain the same. Greed, hope, fear, trust. These forces have driven financial bubbles and scams for centuries, and they will continue doing so. So, what lessons can we learn from OneCoin? First, if an investment promises extraordinary returns, demand extraordinary evidence. Second, never invest in something you do not understand. Third, transparency matters. If nobody can independently verify an investment, proceed with extreme caution. Fourth, never let fear of missing out control financial decisions. And finally, remember this: real wealth is rarely created overnight, but financial disasters often are. The crypto queen promised millions of people the next Bitcoin. Instead, they became part of one of the biggest financial frauds in modern history. A $4 billion deception, a global investigation, and a mystery that remains unsolved. Because somewhere, perhaps under another name, perhaps in another country, the woman known as the crypto queen may still be out there. And that is the story of OneCoin, the $4 billion crypto scam that fooled the world. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more stories about billion-dollar frauds, corporate scandals, startup collapses, and Wall Street's biggest secrets, subscribe to Money Trap and turn on notifications. Because behind every fortune, there is a story, and sometimes the biggest fortunes hide the biggest lies. See you in the next documentary.